Buenas, ¿qué tal? Buenos días.
Hola Tommy, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, War Drakes. El mazo. Jugando una carta aquí, creo que es del 2018. No lo sé. Aquí la tenemos, básicamente es una de las cartas que hace el mazo, junto con Wretched Raider y por supuesto la Fable, que si estás jugando rojo por lo general la sueles querer. Resto de cartas, más de lo mismo. Cantrips, removal, algún counter, poco más, la verdad. Treasure Cruise, por supuesto. Algunos juegan este mazo y esperan ganar. Yo soy uno de ellos. Vamos a probar a ver qué tal funciona. Vamos directamente a la liga sin perder más tiempo. Esta mano es... Esta mano es una mierda. Esta mano es mejor. A ver, tenemos algo de removal. Tenemos algún counter. Probablemente Treasure Cruise sea la peor carta, diría yo. Pues ya tenemos Cantrips, ya tenemos removal. El Treasure Cruise con esta mano yo creo que va a tardar en tener efectividad, creo. Buenos días, Scoopy, ¿qué tal? Let's go, vamos a ver. Si es mono white esto me parece que ya hemos perdido. No tenemos removal rápido. Si juega Talía estamos muy mal. Bien. Fable, bueno, es buena carta, pero aquí en este spot no sé si va a ser buena. Hopeful Initiate, vale. Ok. Hopeful Initiate, bien. Está la cosa complicada. Si el turno siguiente ya viene una Adeline, vamos a pasar francamente mal. Esto lo quiero robar yo, ¿hace algo? Hombre, a ver, es una tierra que necesito, desde luego. Pero necesito más removal que tierras. Tierra ya tengo una. Necesito encontrar removal. Todo el removal que pueda. Y aún así no creo que vaya a ser suficiente. Estamos ya muy por detrás. O sea, que en el turno 2 ya estés muy por detrás, o solo por el hecho de estar donde lo estés muy por detrás, me hace cuestionarme cosas sobre este deck. Sin duda. Bien, bueno, algo mataremos o algo intentaremos matar. Si tenemos la suerte de nuestras vidas y no cae aquí nada importante, todavía podemos aguantar el tipo un poco más. Hopeful Initiate. Ahora sí voy a intentar matarlo. Espero que no tenga Break the Elements, por favor. Si tiene Break the Elements he perdido la partida. Última carta en mano. Vale. Hemos tenido suerte. Bueno, por lo menos no pega de millones con esto ahora. Probablemente la última carta sea... Ossification, quizá. Si es Ossification quiero que se lo pegue al token. Y rezo para robarme una tierra con el Crackling Drake. Vale, por lo menos la tierra está ahí. Bien, pues ya con esto hay que mantener el tipo como se pueda. El ataque para mi oponente es obvio, ¿no? Es pegar con todo. Yo intentaré bloquear Dauntless Bodyguard. Un poco más, eso sí, estos son 6 daños. Entonces, lo siguiente intentaremos mantener la mesa. He de decir que sí, tiene que jugar aquí el... la partida se ha acabado ya. Ya se acaba la partida. Ahora me pega de 9. Ya el Crackling Drake no hace nada. Además tengo que pincharme de vidas con esto. De hecho es muy posible que el Crack... A ver, me tendría que quitar el Spell Pierce y la tierra, supongo. A 9. Yo creo que ya es imposible. Voy a quitar Spell Pierce. Porque de hecho si bloqueo aquí me van a entrar 7 sí o sí. Entonces pues vamos a intentar buscar 2 removals o algo por el estilo. Pues vamos a quitarnos esto y esto, creo yo. Es que tampoco me beneficia aquí pincharme 2 vidas, creo yo, si es para jugar algo. Vale, Rending Volley, Brothers Jugend. Abrade. Estas son las obligatorias, cartas que no me gustan mucho. Si voy a meter... Igual Spell Pierce es mucho peor. Vamos a probar así mismo. Spell Pierce es bastante malo, la verdad, sí. Esta carta de esta mano. Hombre, a ver. El problema es que un Treasure Cruise es suficiente, 2 no hacen nada. Pero tiene mucho removal. Lo que puedo intentar es buscar. Tiene mucho removal y me puedo recuperar con el Treasure Cruise. Yo creo que me la puedo quedar. Buscaré una tierra con el Consider y ya está. Es una mano que. Pues a lo mejor es mulligan, pero apunta a buenas maneras. O sea, no es lo mismo quedarse una mano con muchas tierras y buscar el removal que tener removal y buscarse tierras. Mi opinión. Esta me la puedo quedar, de hecho me la voy a quedar. Esta es muy buena. Esto con un poquito de suerte, ya si vuelvo a robar tierra al turno siguiente puedo ya incluso hacer doble removal y robar, descartar para ya empezar a ciclar para el Treasure Cruise. Justification, Talía. Vale, Talía la puedo matar. Ok, esta no está mal. De hecho estoy pensando en utilizar Upgrade. En el turno siguiente, Strangle junto con otro spell puedo ya empezar a activar esto. Pero de hecho es más, no creo que lo juegue ahora, me quedaría enderezado y vería qué narices hace mi oponente. Porque yo creo que la clave es que no tenga una Talía. Si no tenía un turno 1 eso porque estaba amedrentado por el hecho de yo pincharme vidas y que pudiera tener un removal, porque tiene varias Talías. Entonces aquí creo que es prioritario quedarme enderezado, esperar a que no juegue otra Talía. Un poco más. Vale, ahora sí tengo que matar a Talía. Por cojones. Solo para descartar. Pero impulsa es muy buena, pues nos quitamos Treasure Cruise. Y en respuesta a esto voy a cargar a Talía. Luego ya mato. Puedo hacer un Brothers Hood incluso. Garantizarlo. A ver, que si robo tierra, si hubiera robado tierra por otro lado hubiera hecho aquí. Me hubiera esperado y haría ahora Brothers Hood. Y ya está. Pero creo que prefiero asegurarme matar la Talía. Ahora puedo jugar Brothers Hood si quiero, estoy por delante. Y ya está. Incluso puedo hacer moto de removal. Puedo hacer removal. Robo descarto. A ver. Bueno, removal son 5, 6. Si robo tierra puedo hacer 7. Podría hacerlo también. Removal. Es que me da un buen impulso, ¿no? Yo creo que no está mal. Voy a hacer aquí esto. Voy a hacer aquí esto. Brazen Borrower. Creo que ni la necesito, sinceramente. ¿La quiero para algo? Yo creo que no. No, yo creo que no. Voy a tener 6 cartas en el cementerio y pego 3. Bueno, turno siguiente puedo hacer Treasure Cruise y doble spell otra vez. O sea, básicamente ahora ya me garantizo hacer doble spell por turno, creo. Estaba la posibilidad de hacer un Brothers Hood y no profundizar, no llenar el cementerio, pero quiero aprovechar el Ledger Redder al máximo, especialmente teniendo un Treasure Cruise ya en mano. El problema es si hace Ossification, desde luego, que aquí hace Brutal Cazar. Bueno, Brutal Cazar lo puedo matar y ya está. O ahora es cuando tengo un buen turno, por ejemplo, de Brothers Hood, si vuelvo a jugar otra criatura. Y así me guardo Fire Impulse para la muta. Pero no está jugando nada más. Curioso. Fable. Creo que podemos hacer Fable aquí tranquilamente. Livy, buenos días. Jugar Islas en Pioneers de valientes. Por supuesto. Por supuesto que lo es. Aquí si bloqueo o sea, aquí se ataca insta bloqueo a la muta, pero insta bloqueo a la muta. Sin ninguna duda. Insta bloqueo a la muta. O sea, una fable que puede matar a una muta. Insta hecho. Y así robo tierras perfecto. Porque acá puedo hacer Brotherhood. Aquí creo que me voy a quitar. Yo honestamente creo que no me voy a quitar nada. Porque tengo lo que quiero. O sea, otra fable. Más amenazas, más removal, roba cartas. No hay nada que me falte. Que sí, que sería ideal hitear una tierra, pero a cambio de quitarme un removal que me va a hacer falta igual. Yo creo que no. Entonces ahora es un buen turno de Brotherhood. Me parece que tiene... Yo creo que debe tener el... Creo que debe tener el Brave the Elements. Pues está con un mana ahí abierto. Me parece un tanto sospechoso. He de decir. Entonces, ¿qué podemos hacer? El tema es que si tiene eso ahí... Yo le tiro esto, pierdo el turno y me pega de 5. En mi turno siguiente tengo esto y claro, ya no podría jugar el Brotherhood. Yo creo que si juego el Brotherhood tiene que ser ahora. Si no lo tiene, que yo creo que lo tiene el Brave the Elements. Si no lo tiene, perfecto. Ok. Y si lo tiene, pues por lo menos ya no lo juego cuando esté mi fable. Flipeada. Ay. No está ganada la partida, como siempre contra MonoW nunca estás tranquilo. Está robando más tierras de lo habitual. Adeline, bueno. Iba a ocurrir tarde o temprano. Vale, pues ahora tenemos que matar Brutal Cazar. Por 2, tirar Cruz. Y tenemos la fable con otro. Ok, vale. No está mal. A ver. Está bien, está bien. Está bien, realmente, está bien. No voy a matar la de Line, por desgracia. No voy a matarla. Entonces, ¿qué opciones tengo? La opción que tengo es de tirar un Cruz. Robar. Y ver qué viene. A ver, pero tirar un Brotherhood ahora, aunque me mate la Reflection Fikishiki, tampoco pasa nada, ¿no? Porque me va a meter... Me va a poner Ledger Redder y voy a controlar los bichos de la Adeline. Realmente la Adeline va a estar pegando de 2, salvo que robe algo muy bueno. El problema es que no voy a poder matar la Adeline luego fácilmente. Pero bueno, voy a tener Ledger Redder, voy a tirar Cruz, Removal. Yo creo que puedo encontrar un segundo Removal para la Adeline fácil. Entonces, tengo la sensación de que este va a ser el turno. Este va a ser el turno, además, que uno de los muy buenos draws que puede tener perfectísimamente es un otro Brave the Elements. Hopeful Initiate. Vale, pues de momento no hace mucho. Ataca con Adeline, pega de 3, yo bloqueo al 1-1. Al turno siguiente tiramos 3 Cruz, más cosas. Voy a 8. Doble removal aquí, sería perfecto. 3 Cruz, vamos a empezar por aquí. Vale. Es un problemilla. El Blitz ese no mata tampoco... Bueno, sí puede matarlo, sí puede matarlo. Si lo hago bien, puedo, por ejemplo, tirar Blitz, salta al brillar Ledger Redder, me descarto, por ejemplo, Fire Impulse. Y con eso mato a la Adeline. Juego tierra, al turno siguiente tengo Crackling Drake. A ver, esto es... Un segundo. Puedo incluso tirarme el 3 Cruz, no es tan necesario, pero el caso es que tengo que hacer esto sí o sí. Jugar segundo spell ahora. Si viene pues un opt o algo así, pues perfecto, me puedo descartar. Vale, puedo descartarme el Treasure Cruise y si hago tierra, Fire Impulse y me cargo esto. Y ya realmente busco ya ganar la partida con los recursos que tengo. No creo que el Treasure Cruise sea tan necesario ahora mismo. Bueno, puedo esperar, tampoco me preocupa mucho el... Pero claro, es que en este caso no hubiera jugado al Spire Bluff Canal. Bueno, puedo esperar, con esto abierto y ya está. Voy a... Creo que voy a atacar. No tengo necesidad de aquí de esperar más, honestamente. Solo que me dejo el Fire Impulse. Primero porque no tengo necesidad realmente de matar un 1-2, ¿no? Y si hay algo más importante que vaya a jugar ahora, pues tengo decisión sobre qué quiero o puedo matar. Coppercut Vanguard. Coppercut Vanguard es peligroso. Pero como esto ya me pega 2, creo que lo puedo matar ahora. A esta partida creo que deberíamos ganarla. Creo. Con Cider. Puedo hacer foul, no. Esto es un 11. Al turno siguiente debería ganar. Vale, pues vamos a hacer Crackling Drake. Probamos a ver qué viene. Si viene tierra puedo hacer Consider. Tierra no me compensa irme a 6, yo creo. No hay necesidad, quiero decir, básicamente. Podría y creo que no tiene ningún problema, pero no veo necesidad, ¿cierto? No sé si pego ahora. A ver, por otro lado puedo pegar de algo más. Si pego... El problema es si nos tira un removal, ¿no? Si roba un Brutal Cazar aquí y pega. Brutal Cazar... Voy a pegar 13. Con el Consider Ledger Redder puedo pegar de 14. Creo que me voy a quedar enderezado. No hay necesidad de pegar. Este turno voy a hacer esto y ya está. Si roba un Brutal Cazar, por lo menos puedo bloquear. Y 2 daños no irían a ningún sitio si esto lo mata. Vamos a dar turno. Turno siguiente es letal igual. Si no hay nada que nos moleste. Brutal Cazar o Irrigation, lo que sea. A ver, supongo que, es que esta forma realmente es win al turno siguiente. Esta forma es win al turno siguiente, sí o sí. Si no interacciona con la mesa, me refiero. Ojo, esto mata mutas. Ojo al dato. Por un maná matas todas las mutables. ¿Esto sería relevante o cómo es de estúpido? Yo prefiero matar mutables por un maná. Que el resto es todo bastante terrible. No hay rojo. Quiero tener una mano un poquito más... Uf. Ya hemos visto que estas manos no ganan la partida. Necesito removal. Brothers Huden. Incluso en The Draw Brothers Huden es terrible, a veces. Demasiado lento quizá. Obviamente lo quieres, pero tiene sus complicaciones. Voy a quedar esta. Al menos cumplimos el propósito de todo removal. Pero de Jugando yo creo que es lo ideal por si mi oponente va más a lo ancho que a lo estrecho y fuerte. Blitz va a requerir de un setup, yo diría afable. A ver, un segundo. Creo que igual puedo dejarla afable, porque es una forma de recuperarme un poco de la posición. Si ya quiero mantener a lo mejor una talía a raya, si va a lo ancho tengo el Brothers Jugend, pero luego tengo que recuperarme de alguna forma. Entonces yo diría afable. Vamos a buscar una mano que sea ganadora a la vez que reactiva. Pues si es puramente reactiva y no gana, mi oponente también tiene tiempo para recuperar. O sea, tengo que jugar tiempo, básicamente. Tengo que... Aparte de que tengo que tener un poco de suerte. Mira, esto es una tierra. Esto es una tierra. Además, la Talía la quiero matar. Vamos a jugarlo así. Si juega Talía, por lo menos ya tengo removal para la misma. Copper con Vanguard también para esto. Pero mira, esto es lo que decía, ¿no? Que esta mesa ancha... Si robo tierra ya tengo un plan, ya tengo un Brothers Jugend. Si va con Adeline, la partida de Adeline no la voy a poder ganar nunca. Por desgracia. Necesito que no tenga una Adeline. Una Adeline gana... Pero es que va a ganar casi siempre una Adeline, no hay mucho que hacer. A ver, si encuentro tierra... Esto es bueno. No, tengo que matar esto. Va a hacer indestructible al Recruitment Officer, por desgracia, pero es lo que hay. No puedo permitir el Copper con Vanguard que sobreviva. Me va a castigar bastante. Bueno, no estamos terriblemente mal si no he hecho Adeline aquí. Esta es buena. Aquí ya puedo hacer Fable. Mi oponente no ha jugado nada. Entonces eso significa que algo reactivo tiene. Si tuviera un Brutal Cazar, me parece bien, ¿no? Me pega de 4, me quita el este, yo robo descarto, tiro Brothers Jugend, limpio más o menos la mesa. Bueno, tiene puto. Creo que no está mal. Es un turno donde no me está metiendo mucha presión. Yo creo que puedo desarrollar aquí un poquito. Bueno, Josema, ¿qué tal? Eso tampoco me importa de momento demasiado. De momento, a ver, era una buena carta, desde luego, pero de momento, pues, prefiero que reaccione contra otras cosas que no sea la mesa. Aquí puedo forzarle si quiere pegar. No creo que pegue, porque con esto puede robar. De hecho, esto es una muy buena carta también. Si no pega, a ver, estamos en una situación que... Pero como me olía, tenía algo reactivo. Aquí el bloque es instantáneo este. El plan es controlar la mesa. Menos si sacrifica para hacerlo indestructible, pues este daño no me entra. Si quiere jugar a otras criaturas pequeñas, tengo Brothers Jugend. Vale, okay. No ha jugado nada. Puede tener otro Destroy Evil. El tema es que si yo juego Brothers Jugend, mi oponente mete a Adeline. Si mi oponente... Si yo hago Crackling y me lo mata... Bueno, yo diría, si fuera él, creo que haría robo en respuesta o busco en respuesta, lo mato al turno siguiente y juego mesa, juego cosas. Yo iría a jugar Crackling aquí, para hacer mejor play. Estando bajo mucha presión, creo que se puede. Si tiene algo reactivo, que tiene toda la pinta, porque no está... Está algo fuerte la música, perdón. Lo bajo ahora mismo y ya está. O sea, además, por lo general la subo un poco más porque no... Normalmente la música no... Es como más... Pues es como beats y ya está, ¿no? Y ahora por algún motivo están poniendo ahí otras cosas. Vale, esto me lo olía. Pero bueno, esto es razonable. Si mi oponente va a seguir jugando cosas, para mí es perfecto. Hago el jugando y ya está. Dentro de las que podía tener reactivas, esta es la que menos me preocupa. Pega voy a 9, Brothers Juden, tengo Fire Impulse. A ver, esta partida sobre el papel pinta bien. Sobre el papel. Pero claro, es mono white, con una Adeline en mano. No te puedes confiar nunca. Spikefield Hazard. Ah, esto ya mata... Esto mata ya a la Adeline. Ah, tenemos la posibilidad de hacer Consider, pero yo creo que quiero esperar. Quiero ver qué va a hacer este turno. Porque igual quiero buscar más removals si lo que pretendo es cerrar la partida, o buscar amenazas si me va a quitar la que ya tengo. Aquí, Adeline. Esto ya tengo... Con esto ya tengo removal. Suficiente. Puede tener un... Break the Elements. Brothers Juden, yo creo que ya no la quiero, realmente. A ver, no es mala, porque es, aunque sea por 3 un removal, sigue siendo un removal. O sea, puedo hacer Brothers Juden y un Spikefield Hazard, matar la Adeline. Y ya está. Pues si no tengo que hacer mis 2 últimos removal para matarla, si tiene Break the Elements, me ha hecho un 2 por 1. Entonces a lo mejor así sigo teniendo opciones. Yo creo que voy a dejarla arriba, ya está. Voy a robar. Sigue siendo removal. Que no sea el mejor, el más eficiente de todos, creo que me puede valer. Además, también he de tener en cuenta que sigue habiendo amenazas. O sea, tampoco puedo desperdiciar todo el removal del mundo. Buenas, ¿qué tal, Alia? Buenas. A ver. Vale. Bien. Ahora puedo hacer lo siguiente. Si tiene yo puedo hacer 3 daños. Si tiene Break the Elements no pasa nada. Pero si no tiene Break the Elements... O sea, perdón, si tiene Break the Elements, lo que puedo hacer básicamente es... Vale, no lo tiene, ok, vale. Pues ahora ya, para garantizarme que voy a matar la Adeline, tengo que pincharme 2 vidas. Si aquí va a hacer Break the Elements, yo en respuesta puedo tirar Fire Impulse. Si no lo hace, pues bueno, pues sigo teniendo removal para lo que quiera que sea. De hecho, aquí diría... Esto le cuesta 5 de transformar, 5 que ya tiene, me pega de 3. Pero significa que pierde el turno. Y yo realmente tengo un clock de 3 turnos. O sea, pego, se va a 14. Me pega, me voy a 4. Gasta todo el maná. Le pego, se va a... Bueno, puedo jugar optar y tal y cual. 3 turnos. Si él... No sé, me pega, me va a 4. Le pego, o sea, le pego ahora. Se va a 14. Me pega, me voy a 4. Le pego, se me va a... O sea, que me pega, me voy a 1. Vale, yo debería ganar la carrera. Entonces voy a pegar. Y ahora vemos qué tiene. Otra muta. Vale, puede transformar su Mutavolt. Yo puedo jugar Fire Impulse. A lo mejor si tuviera Talía sería un pequeño problema esto, porque podría pegar aquí. Va a pegar con eso, no pasa nada. Entonces podemos tirar aquí, optar. Como digo, esta carrera sobre el papel la ganamos. Mientras no vaya a desarrollar nada más. Y aún así, si va a pegar con la muta, yo tengo el Fire Impulse. O sea que esta carrera no me preocupa. Rending volley. Esta es buena, mata esto. Ya, con esto creo que cerramos la partida ya. Realmente. A ver, tiene dos mutas realmente, pero puedo matar una de ellas. ¿Qué me podría matar al turno siguiente? A ver, tiene 3 tierras. 4. Hago muta, juega de línea, por ejemplo, me deja 1. Pero yo le mato al turno siguiente. Entonces no, tengo que seguir atacando. ¿Qué opino de Pioneer en Magic Arena? Que cuanto antes llegue mejor, la verdad. Cuanto antes lo tengamos, mejor. Eso es lo que puedo decir. Pero entiendo un poco bueno, creo entender la lógica de Wizards. ¿Por qué no lo están metiendo caña? Porque si ellos tienen planeado un producto específico para Arena, sacarlo dentro de unos meses y así tener Arena ya al 100%, perdón, en la Arena tener el Pioneer al 100%. ¿Por qué ibas a sacarlo? O sea, ahora entiendo básicamente por qué los Anthologies y todo esto que han sacado estos meses no está Pioneer completo, pues porque tienen un producto diseñado. O sea, ¿por qué iban a hacerlo antes si ya tienen el producto diseñado? Sería estúpido, ¿no? Para ellos. Justification. Uy. Justification. Joder. A ver qué me viene. A ver, técnicamente no es letal. Técnicamente no es letal. Se han dicho las fechas para incorporarse, es finales del 2024 va a ser aproximadamente. Con un producto diseñado, me refiero, que lo que han anunciado es que lo que va a haber en Arena es un Pioneer, creo que era un Pioneer Master, si no recuerdo mal. O sea, van a imprimir muchas cartas. O sea, van a sacar muchas cartas en Arena de todo lo que hay de Pioneer para completar el set. Ese es el producto que han diseñado. Lo anunciaron hace unas semanas en en una feria de estas que ellos hacen. Bueno, esto está bien porque si me mata el Crackling Drake tengo removal para el Mutavolt. Hostia, está tensa la cosa. Está tensa. Bueno, también mi oponente se afludea bastante. Hay combinaciones que me pueden ganar aquí. Brutal cazar. Por ejemplo, si hace Brutal cazar y tiene un Brave Elements y yo intento matar Brutal cazar, es un problema. Va a bloquearme con la Cave. Eso es bueno, eso es muy bueno. Eso es muy bueno. Y ahora puedo... A ver, técnicamente podría haber robado con el Crackling Drake. Técnicamente podría haberlo hecho. Puede tener aquí también... engancho. Tiene engaño entonces. Se ha robado engaño, supongo. ¿What? No, creo que se ha colado mi oponente. Ya no puede bloquear porque ya ha pasado la oportunidad para transformar esto. A ver, si tenía esos, desde luego que hay partida. Pero bueno, entre comillas, porque yo tengo ya el segundo Crackling Drake, que sería el tercer Crackling Drake más bien. Ya se le pone muy cuesta arriba, o sea, aquí ya era muy... O sea, entiendo que ha sido un misclick. Andrea Mengucci, con la raid. Grazie mille, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome everybody to HollyMacaroni stream. Spanish player, although I do speak English, so if you have any particular questions you can present in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. Most likely you don't know me, but I do play Pioneer most of the time, and I've been doing it so since pretty much since the format was legal. But as it came back, pretty much as it was announced as competitive format last year, I've been playing it non-stop. So I like to explore decks, although I do focus on mono green most of the time. I do have a guide if you have questions or particular concern on the mono green guide. It's in my Twitter profile. It's in Spanish, but I'm expecting to translate it someday. I don't know exactly when, but it will happen eventually. Also, as I mentioned, every time that I mango rated with a big audience, what I would do is just switch to English right away. So that's pretty much what I'll do. So we're playing Is It Drakes? Not an archetype that I'm used to play, not my everyday combination of cards and colors, but the deck is fun. This is the second time we're playing against the Blue-Red Phoenix, which is not a very good matchup, I assume, but I don't know exactly. Okay, the plan here is just to be as aggressive as possible and try to find pieces to kill the thing in the eyes. We have there's one card that we can use to kill the thing in the eyes, which is quite good against the Ledger's Red too. Sorry, not the Ledger's Red, the Phoenixes too. Is the Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. Let's see if we can find it. So we have a good turn here, a good turn. A very good one. Let's see if we can find that card we are asking for. So this is the first. Okay, I'm discarding the land for sure. Another land. I don't want this. And I don't want that either, but it is what it is. Let's play with it. Okay, next turn. Most likely playing Crackling Drake, although we have the option to maybe go for the Treasure Cruise. It only costs 3. It's still quite likely that our opponent has a Spell Pierce. So in that particular scenario, I would just go for the Crackling Drake. Okay, this is one of the cards that we were aiming at, but we have a problem with the spells available in the graveyard. Also, if our opponent's having a Spell Pierce, that's an extra option to remove one of the counters, so I think it's safe to just go for the Crackling Drake. Maybe attack first, see what happens. Because if our opponent goes for the, I don't know, maybe a removal for the Ledger's Rider, we can maybe consider pay 2 mana for Treasure Cruise, although it's a number with the Blitz. So let's see. It's quite unlikely that our opponent does not flip the thing in the eyes next turn, but just patience. We do have Otawara to flip it to bring it back to hand. That's another option. That could be another point. So it's close. If our opponent flips, the position is quite bad. And we have nothing to deal with it. The only option we have is just to keep playing more threats and try to stop the beating. So I don't know, besides that, I don't see any other approach to just maintain the situation. Let's cross fingers, wait and see if our opponent doesn't have more spells, which is kind of unlikely, but I don't know. They're thinking. I don't know exactly about what, but they're thinking. Okay, is a charm. Could it be that he's playing, what my opponent is playing, maybe the other version of Phoenix? But this pretty much aims towards having multiple spells next turn for my opponent. So very difficult to keep up with the pressure. Also to slow down the presence. I don't think we have any chance. I mean, it was quite unlikely to discard only lands with Ledger's Redder. Well, this is a good draw actually, because we can just maybe play Ledger and Brazen Borrower. Well, the petty theft. Bring this back to the hand. So this pretty much only costs 7 life, this movement. And then we might have more spells to cast the Blitz and kill the thing in the ice. That's good news too. Okay, this goes down for sure. And I would say that maybe the Treasure Cruise. We have 2 more left in the library. Okay, quite easy play here, just to Ledger, maybe look for extra lands if possible. My opponent thinking about attacking. Okay. Alright, we just get back the tempo. That's not a good one. In fact, we're missing one. Okay, let me think. Let me think through. If we had a land, I think the play for sure was... Well, we can do something. I think the safest is just to go for Ledger's Redder and just cast the petty theft on this. We can gamble a little bit. Maybe we can go for an extra land. Cast Ledger's Redder plus Strangle, go for land, then we have more than enough just to play the Blitz and kill it. But I'd rather, if possible, just use it on the Act Like Phoenixes. So equally we have a chance to hit a land here. That's not a land. Actually, if this comes back, I don't think Strangle does anything. If we had an extra removal, I think it's better just to keep building up the lands, etc. So having cantrips, I think is good enough. Little Me, thank you for the follow. We are not some sort of a explosive deck. We want to have more lands if possible. We have expensive spells such as Crackling Drake that we sometimes want to cover them with counter spells. So make no mistake, we don't have enough with 4 lands as many of the Phoenix decks normally need. Okay, this is good for me. Not good. I think they're not aiming anymore for the... But we can discard one up, maybe. We're getting close to the extra land. To the 5th land, I mean. Then I think I need spells for the Blitz too, maybe. If I find the second one. Maybe opt. It's not a good cantrip. Juan Rizzo, thank you for the follow. Okay, so now we have the option to cast Shredder plus Blitz. Again, we're missing a land, which is crucial. But I think it's priority to... Well, let me double check this. We are not quite alive. We only have 8 lives remaining, life points. So let's try to break down the situation. So we know they have threats. We know that we can kill one of them, which is the Arc-like Phoenix, ideally with Blitz. But I think it's quite easy that we can find a second piece to kill the thing in the ice. So we have the option to react and keep the pressure up. However, if I don't find a land, I find that concerning. So maybe if I do cast Treasure Cruise first, try to guarantee a land. The problem is if that doesn't come on tap, then we only have 3. Then we don't have the option to stay ahead anymore. So again, I sense that we still have the option to dig up for the land. And what I'll do is just to go for the best play. This has the best upside, I would say. If we find the land, this is amazing. If not, again, we are not in the best situation. But, well, I don't want to discard the second Treasure Cruise. We have enough to maybe play 2 of them. So maybe the second Consider is okay to discard it. So the plan is to stay ahead whilst killing the creatures from our opponent. That's the winning line, right? Thing in the ice, that was expected. %, sure they're going for the Trash Cruise. Okay, we need that. We need that 100%, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we need it. So, do we want to get rid of the Trash Cruise? I think so, but I still consider the Crackling deck is good enough. Maybe the Consider is no longer needed, because we're having 13 cards. Maybe the Consider is not necessary. We have the option to cast 2 Treasure Cruise. In fact, that's what we aimed at last turn. So I'm happy with having more lands. Not this particular one, because it requires us to pay life, which is something that I rather avoid. Okay, our opponent may be trying to flip this too. That's problematic, because then we don't have any more things to kill this. Only if we find one of the 2 blitzes that we have left. Okay, that's a problem. I think they're waiting to flip this. Okay, let's see what comes up. Lots of removal. We can for sure kill this. We can kill it. In fact, we can also cast a second Treasure Cruise. But the problem is that we have a Spell Pierce. That's the issue, right? Do we have the option to play around Spell Pierce? I think not anymore. Let's see if we can guarantee 3 damages here. Okay, let that resolve. We have enough to maybe use another impulse, fire impulse, and then use the cast the treasure cruise. Plus 3 damage, then we have 3 more, plus treasure. Resolves. Let's go for the treasure cruise. Okay, like this. We have another blitz, which is quite good against the Phoenix. If we had, let's say, I don't know, 12 life points, this would be a much better situation. But the 5, we are dead anytime. Anytime. Especially with this. They can discard 2 Phoenixes. Yeah, that's game. Let's concede. Okay, against Phoenix. I like these for sure. 100%. And then it depends on what my opponent does. For example, if they transform the cyborg to a Crackling Drake, you know, strategy, having again maybe change the equation or disdain for the stroke is okay, but I don't think it's the case. We played that last game against Phoenix too, and these were probably the worst cards in the deck. So maybe change the equation could be another one, although I'm not entirely happy with it. Of course, that can interact with maybe Lightning Axe, just to avoid our Crackling Drakes to die. And also maybe counter if they have the Crackling Drakes, which I'm not 100% sure they bring in them. So not a fan of the fire impulse. Not a fan of these strangles. The fire is okay. Let's try like that. Yeah, definitely. I don't like the cheap removal spells. That will change when the torch the tower. That's a much better removal spell. That's a very good one against Phoenix, because for 1 mana you can kill the Arclight Phoenix, and then, I mean, not in this particular deck, although it has some applications thanks to the tokens that the Fable creates. But what I meant to say is that Torch the Flame is quite good against Phoenix as is, and then the upside is not that good, but kind of substitutes the Fire Impulse. I'm a good believer in that particular, big believer in the Torch the Flame. I think it's good addition to the metagame. And for the rest, definitely my hand has quite good development and can interact with an early Thing in the Ice, which is a card that is difficult to deal with as we encounter. So yeah, maybe my opponent doing the double triple Q, that's why he's taking that much or that long. Okay, so maybe playing nothing. The not good side of this hand is that we don't have any kind of development with cantrips besides Trash Cruise. We're gonna cast it for sure. It's just, as you can see, killing the early threats with the Mystical Dispute It's a good thing. Then playing the Fable, even though it goes against a potential counter spell, I think is good. Okay, he's playing nothing. So we have the option to maybe play nothing too. Doing nothing, especially now that we have the opt, and then have the turn with Fable plus Mystical Dispute. Because worst case scenario is if we play the Fable, they have a Spell Pierce, then they play Thing in the Ice. We are kind of, I mean, not in a very good spot again. So let's play this. I dig for something. Okay, that's okay, but I'd rather just go for the Fable and Mystical Dispute. It's quite tempting to play the Crackling Drake, but we do expect for them to have the Mystical Dispute, right? So them having 3 counter spells, I think, is a little bit more difficult. 2 counter spells rather. So let's go for this. Sorry. Okay, if they play Spell Pierce, we do have Mystical Dispute. We can even maybe do nothing. If they have 2 counter spells, they want to use them now. Okay. But let's say if they don't do anything, what happens if I do not Mystical Dispute and I wait for them to play Thing in the Ice? They can have a second counter spell too, right? And we are not. I think that we are much worse position. So again, staying ahead, I think, is the idea. One goes down. If I had the 5th land, maybe Ledger plus Fable could be good, but in this case I rather scope for the Crackling Drake. We expect them to have maybe another is a charm. Let's draw. If we find a land, that's good. If not, we're ahead. So playing as tempo, playing pressure, maybe the only way to just, you know, win this game. But we're in the mid game. Phoenix tries to get in a good position when the mid game arrives. So we don't want to give them the luxury to be in a good position, right? Okay, this is pretty much the perfect draw. It's perfect draw. We have the option to Ledger plus, or maybe even Fable plus Rending Volley, and we're killing it. Ledger is an option, but I think I'd rather just play as many resources as possible. Fable attacks the situation kind of two different angles. Adding creatures plus just sculpting the hand, filling the graveyard. You would say it's a good play now. Opponent aiming to the Phoenix. That's not coming. Okay, one of the other aspects of the Blue Red Phoenix second, third games is the Shahili. Can happen also. Lightning Axe to kill a Crackling Drake, but we have more threats, right? Still looking for the Phoenixes. It's quite unlikely, not unlikely, but it's quite strange that in the first 30 cards nothing came. Okay, that's one, I guess. Do we want to discard anything? I don't think so. Maybe we can. We have the option to copy the Crackling Drake, play another one. I think I don't want to discard anything. We have the threats, which is pretty much... we don't have reaction, but... I'm confident that we can find it. We can find the reactive spells. No, I think I'm okay with it. So let's play... We have the option to copy this. Play another Crackling Drake. Maybe play the Consider. First an attack. Or copy and then... I don't know. Let's do this. Spell Pierce. We can copy, draw. We attack, then we play another Crackling Drake. And we are... I think we're quite well positioned. We don't need to go for the Shredder. I think it's underwhelming. And again, of course we can just wait for the end of turn, then copy, etc. That's ideally better, but practically that can go bad, right? My opponent has plenty of mana. They have lots of options. So just dealing damage, bringing more threats to the table. I think that's what we want to do. Dealing damage, making sure that we draw the cards. Just an attack for 10 I think is good in this position. It's not that we are 100% safe. It's that we can encounter a turn with multiple threats, extra turns, Thing in the Ice can flip, so we are not suited for an easy win by any means. We still need to fight and just cross fingers so they don't flip the Thing in the Ice. An extra land, 3 cantrips, 3 1-mana removals can do it, and we cannot deal with the Thing in the Ice as is. We don't have the removals, no longer have the removals, no option to... I mean, we could have played against the Thing in the Ice, but I think that's not good. Then now we have the... now we are quite safe. I don't think they have an option to... Maybe they can kill the Crackling Drake, but we can copy. They played another land, so which is pretty much no lands remaining. So wait, they stumble. They misstepped with the development. They didn't find any phoenixes up until it was too late. I think this setup is okay, as is. Do you want to keep this? Well, I think we can. Having the interaction with an early Thing in the Ice is good, so that's the reason. Well, we want to say removal, if possible. So let's say if I cast I consider. If I find a removal, I don't want it in the graveyard, so I'd rather cast an opt and maybe leave the Consider for the turn that I want to put things in the graveyard. Okay, in this case I want this in the graveyard, but if I found a removal, I would have not liked that spot. Okay. What do we do here? Go for the Ledger Shredder, maybe? Yeah, I think we could do it, yeah. Again, applying pressure. It's the way, it's the way. If I had a Mystical Dispute, maybe I would have played differently. But if not, especially consider that I can just play threat after threat. I think this is better. Look, in this spot, having a Torch to Flame would have been insane. Insane. We could have grew the Ledger, killed the Sahili, exile it. Maybe exile it. Well, no, I guess not, because we don't have the thing to bargain. But nevertheless, we can petty theft this. And I'm thinking about maybe. But the thing is that if I do petty theft and consider it a fail to find the land, then we don't have a turn to Crackling Drake. And I think it's best just to have that next turn set it up. It's much more threatening. So let's do this. And as long as my opponent is not developing the board or not developing their game plan on during the mid game, I want just to apply pressure, right? I just want to do my best. Okay, let me think through. We cannot kill this. But we will be much more well positioned if I do play the Crackling Drake, right? So I think attacking the Sahili is mandatory here. Problem could be Mystical Dispute. That could be problematic. Playing Brazen Borrower is an option. The problem that I have with it is it's quite squishy. It's just one toughness and I don't like that particular. So maybe we have the option to do Fable, but they have a Spell Pierce. That's not good. So I'm thinking maybe Stormcraft Coast, next turn Brazen Borrower, plus Consider. That's okay. Let's do it like that. I think that we can do it like that. Okay, they might have this. Yeah, I think they have Mystical Dispute. Okay, we have some sort of removal against that. Well, actually, I think I should have do this in response to the thing in the ice, right? Let's play this first. Let's see what happens. Fable. Spiral Canal does nothing. This does nothing. That's not good. Consider. Okay, we can try to kill the Sahili. Let's see if we can do it. It's quite likely they have removal. Lightning Axe. Okay, this is good enough just to kill the thing in the ice. Alright. Discard the opt. And we can pay 2 life to play around the spell pierce, maybe. I don't like opt. I'd rather have the fables, more threats. Kill the Sahili. Well, not kill the Sahili, attack the Sahili. Okay. All right. Do they have a negate? Well, we can find another removal. Let's say we can find it. That'd be amazing. Okay, there we found it. Okay, that was good, that was good. Thank God. Okay, still we have plenty of threats. We have pressure. They don't have the phoenixes, they only have 2 cards remaining, although we can foresee a treasure cruise. Put that in the graveyard. Phoenix, okay. That's not a problem yet. Spell pierce, we don't want that. We don't want that. The thing is that they can copy, for example, a Phoenix here to attack. So, yeah. But that's okay. We only go to 10. Well, in this case, 8. Okay, we have 2 options. I think the Crackling Drake is the better one. We don't kill next turn. We can play it. We kill them if they, for example, if we attack, go to 11, if they have lightning axe, we go to 2. Because 6 damage, we go to 2. Even if we have 2 creatures, we cannot win anymore. So I'm afraid we need to stay just in this position, pretty much. Okay. They found a braid in Spikefield Hazard that can kill Crackling Drake. Only if they have an extra land. So this is tense, this is tense. If we draw a land, sorry, that's quite good because then we can attack with both the Crackling Drake and the Ledger Shredder, and then play again another Crackling Drake and another Shredder. So it's a big turn here, big turn. Okay, that's good too. Now we can kill this, and this goes 9. We almost have lethal. Almost have lethal. So just play the Shredder. Kill this. If they play a Brave on this, I'm okay. Completely okay with it. 100% okay. Okay, so this triggers first. Consider. I think we don't want the Fable anymore. No longer needed. Okay, this is the one, so we have that. So if I discard the Crackling Drake, this is 5, I do play Consider. We might have lethal. right? Let's do this. Not well, Mystical Dispute is 10. Okay, 11. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Well, that was tense. Good news that we are on the play. Okay, this is a good hand. We can cover ourselves from a Thoughtseize. That there's pretty much, it's been ages since we've seen one of them. Also beat him. Play Pyro on turn 2 instead of Thing while I'm playing Abyss and Greasefang. Yeah, that's another. Basically, every single thread that kind of continues being problematic and we cannot deal with it is an issue. Also, the Pyromancer is easier to deal with. The full toughness of the thing in the ice is quite difficult. So that's the problem. So they might be red black midrange. Ledger's Rider is not a good card, so we rather just be a little bit more patient and just play the Shredder with this Spell Pierce covered. Now they have 3 lands, which is kind of meh, but I mean we cannot go any further than this. Well, in the case of Abzan, it's not that the Pyromancer is a huge threat. If we're talking about the Greasefang, yeah, you mentioned Greasefang, right? Okay, that's a good one. Nothing that we can do against that, sadly. Not yet, I mean, not yet. But I think we are much better positioned against the red-black than the blue-red Phoenix is. It's not that we need the graveyard as much as the Phoenix needs, right? Thanks to the Crackling Drake. Crackling Drake solves that problem. If they take a Spell Pierce, that's okay. I assume that they're killing one of the Shredders, so they can take anything. If they take Pierce, they take that, I'm not gonna cast that in a million years. Hola Sergio, ¿qué tal? We're quite behind. So we need something big. Fable something. Not this. Not this. This is pretty bad. I mean, I can think about maybe using Blitz to kill this. So we can, for example, cast Blitz, play the land, cast Blitz, Spell Pierce the Blitz, pay for 2, trigger both Shredders, put an instant sorcery on the graveyard, and then the Blitz kills something. It's terrible, but I think that's the only way to interact with the board. I don't think we're doing anything with the Treasure Cruise. That's the only creative line that I can think of. This way allows us to make the Shredders a little bit bigger. Okay, this is not the one that we need or want. Although we have 5 lands, we can play this turn, and then next turn we have a creature. to kill the trespasser, or to block the trespasser. So maybe we can just discard a treasure cruise and guarantee that we have something useful next turn. So let's see. Brazen Borrower. This is not good. I don't think it does anything against this particularly. So let's just do that. We pay 2. This resolves, and we have a big board. Big as big as it can be. Okay, we already played land, so that was my bad. Yeah, we played this. But I think it's decent to have a Hall of Storm Giants. I don't think we can attack by any means. The only thing we can do is block. This would have been much worse just to wait for example, a Shieldred, right? It would have been totally deadly, so this is a terrible situation. It's the best play I can get in such terrible position. At least my opponent's not attacking anymore. Okay, so we have a big one creature next turn. We don't attack, although this flips, but we can double block and cross fingers. Stomp phase. Okay. They have the hive. Nah, we're completely dead. We need maybe multiple Crackling Drakes. I assume they have Fatal Push. But the thing is, if they have Fatal Push, next turn they're not attacking, right? Because we can transform the whole of Storm Beyond. So if they cast the Fatal Push here, I'm okay. If they don't, we kill the Graveyard Trespasser, which is pretty much what we need. Spikefield Hazard. So we transform this, we block, they attack with everything. We can block this, we take 3, go to 3. Yeah, we're completely done, but I don't think there's much more we can do. Stroke this game. Well, as long as we don't have a brain stroke or something like that, I think we're good. But we're kind of close to having a brain stroke because we're dead, right? Does that make sense? Completely stupid commentary, but okay, yeah, we are dead. There's nothing we can do. Yeah, well, let's concede. Let's go for the next one. They could have attacked, but I don't know why they didn't. Why they didn't. Okay. So against red-black, I assume this one is good. Disdainful Stroke. This is the stroke that you were mentioning, right? This is it. And well, I think we can have either Gust for the maybe the Croxus, maybe the Fables. Strangle is a little bit more useful. Fire Impulse, everything that kind of slows my opponent down, because red-black wins with the board. I don't like this. If they're bringing, for example, Go Blank, I don't like the blitzes. I'd rather have just Strangle, Fire Impulse. Both of them can kill most of the creatures. So Blitz is more like a situational card. We need to fill the graveyard, which is not easy. That's why I may just get rid of a couple of Trash Crews. We have the Tomes. I like the Tomes. Ledger is not that good either. I don't like the Ledgers rather. And on the play, having the spell pierce just to counter the Thoughtseize, I think is okay. Maybe one Ledger's Rata. We play first, yes. Well, we can keep this, yes, for sure. I don't think I'm using... I'd rather just have the red mana up, maybe, or the 2 mana up next turn, in case we draw like a tome, or just a ledger, something that we can play. Okay, we play this, say go. Nothing. Spell pierce. Okay, now the plan is just to find maybe the 3rd, 4th land. And what else? Thoughtseize. We rather just have the Crackling in hand. So let's just use the spell pierce here. Okay, now we want... Well, let's wait for the end step. I think the plan's to find lands. Anything that is not a land, I don't want it, so... I like that. I like that too. I don't think it's bad to consider here. I could have maybe considered before playing the land. But the only things that I want to consider for is the tome, maybe, just to take advantage of the mana, maybe Ledger's Rata too. But besides that, I don't think I want anything from consider. The Fable, let's find another spell pierce maybe. Or Disdainful Stroke is not good in this particular situation. And I'd rather have another land. Well, that would have been good to have it. Would have been decent. Now we kill this. The thing is, if I draw a land, I'd rather had just play the Crackling Drake. But if I don't, I would have the Ledger. And I need to kill this somehow, so... And I don't like the play of Ledger plus the kill spell. I'd rather just do it now. And just position myself in the best position, the best possible situation. The tome, that's not good. Now we can scry, try to dig for land, because the longer it takes to find land, the worse the situation is. So Thoughtseize, well, that's okay. Now we have redundancy, especially with the Crackling Drake. I assume that for them the best take is the Drake. They discarded one push, which I assume they might have more. Lilian, okay, that's a problem. We discard Ledger. I could have maybe scried first, because that way we can check what's on the top and then see what... Okay, this is perfect. But yeah, the idea was maybe just to scry first, then take the decision of which card do we want to discard. which normally I do expect to be Crackling the Ledger Israel Decays. It's much better quality, the Drake, and I'd rather just have as many as possible. The more Drakes we have, the better for this matchup. But we fall behind. The turn that we didn't hit 4th land, that was a beating. Because they got the advantage back and they have plenty of resources, and now we have nothing, right? And this is pretty much punishing the tome, so it's not good, not good. Sorry for that. There we go. Do you want to draw anything in particular? I don't think so. I don't think we need to... Well, the thing is that maybe we need the lives from this. So yeah, maybe scrying and try to find something to kill the Lilianas better. Okay, this is quite bad. Treasure Cruise. Okay, that's tough. That's not good. So we take... So they're making us sacrifice. Then attacking with Den. Shieldred, that's 8. We take 2 more from the Shieldred. We're completely dead. There's nothing we can do, sadly. But it's not a good matchup, so we're completely dead. Yes. I'm just thinking about the sequence of all the turns, etc. I think we could have maybe done a couple of things better. The turn, for example, that I thought about casting the Considered, I should have done it. 100%. Should have done it. In fact, we're actually dead, right? Because this is 10. You go to 2 with the next draw. So there's nothing we can do now. That's terrible. Okay, maybe the Blitz was good, but sadly not the best result. Okay, so that was it. That was the league.